Time magazine naming Pope Francis its Person of the Year. The former Argentine cardinal took over the Catholic Church back in March and made it his mission to change the church's image, and it's working. Joining me now, Monica Crowley, who served as a foreign policy assistant to President Nixon. Bernard Whitman is a Democratic pollster, and Jedediah Bila is a Fox News contributor. Welcome all. This is fascinating to me that they went with Pope Francis, who for some conservatives has been controversial, although I'll tell you, I read a very moving piece by our own John Moody on FoxNews.com, who's literally written the book about the papacy, and he defends this pope, even to conservatives. Your thoughts on it, Monica?
Yeah, it's tough to dislike a pope who drives a Ford Focus, Megan, okay? This is a very humble man who has taken the papacy out of the palace and to the streets. He is living the gospel every day and still is incredibly relatable and warm and engaging. I will say this, he's made some comments that have been controversial, as you point out, particularly to conservatives. But as I've read them...
Some comments about wealth, about income,
yes, about capitalism.
Inequality.
Yes, and I've read those comments very closely, Megan, and what I take from it is that it's more of a criticism of hyper-consumerism than it is about capitalism or free markets per se. And I think he has some valid criticisms there. But I also think that he's a quiet reformer in the church, and we'll see where he takes it. It seems that he's taking the church on a different trajectory.
You know, the thing is, though, Bernard, you see Pope Francis out there, literally, washing the feet of prisoners, laying hands on the sickest among us, setting the example for what a Catholic and even a non-Catholic should behave like when faced with somebody who's up against it. And gosh, you think to yourself, how do you criticize this Pope, and how do you go with somebody like, with all due respect, Kathleen Sebelius over Pope Francis?
Well, he's already performed one miracle, because Monica and I actually agree on something. I think this was a brilliant pick, and I'll tell you why. He has caused hundreds of millions of Catholics to re-engage, rethink, and take another look at the church, an institution that was becoming calcified and threatening to really turn off an entire generation or two of adherents. I mean, whether you're talking about his position against trickle-down economics, creating a bigger role for women in the church, discussing homosexuality in an open way. I mean, going so far as to say about gay people, who am I to judge? This is causing people to really think, you know what, maybe the church can change, can adapt, can reach out, can speak to me in a new and powerful way. And I think that's a wonderful thing for Catholics, and I really applaud the decision. And Facebook just came out the other day and said, you know what, he was the most talked about topic all year. So who better than to personify the man of the year than someone who's really changed the institution?
Thank God they went with him over Miley Cyrus. Thank God. Literally, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine?